Hello, guys. Finally, we got a new ritual archetype that we can deal with in the TCG. And apparently, this time it's not a joke or like a meme deck or anything that is like pretty much unplayable or like borderline. But this time we actually got something that could contend with the meta and probably is going to end up in the tier 2 to tier 1 spot. This is Drytron and whatever you can play with it. And I personally chose as my engine of choice, my ritual engine of choice to play with it, to be the Megalith engine. I'll be also working on a Nekroz list after I perfected this list because this list is way more competitive than the Nekroz list. Um, it is a combo deck that like is really hard to stop. It is this version specifically is made so that you basically cannot activate Nibiru against this because it will always have something to stop the Nibiru, or the Nibiru is in such a spot that it's literally not worth it, and that the Nibiru does not much to nothing. So let's get over the deck list. For the Drytrons, you need to play a lot of them because these guys they work kind of like pendulum monsters in the case that you need a lot of them to make them even better. So we run one Gamma Altanin. This is super good for link spamming, two Zeta to search the ritual spells. Three Alpha Tuban, the best one because it searches any ritual monster. And two Delta Altais, which is like you just get a random draw, which is good. But you need to have another ritual monster in hand or a ritual spell so that you can draw off this, which is kind of sad, but it's fine. We run one Draconoids. I don't know if I want to cut this, but it's level 12 machine ritual monster with 4k attack. So pretty much if you summon this, you're absolutely fine. You're like you can use this as the material for any any ritual monster in this deck. Then we run for searchers, one foolish because it can dump any one of these. It's basically as good as if you had them in hand. Maybe a little bit worse, but yeah. Then when terraforming to search the Drytron Fafnir to search the Drytron Nova, which special summons them to your field, which means you have like 7 really good cards in the deck. Those are the best cards in the deck. Then triple Cyber Emergency to search them directly. Or you could also search Drytron and Meteor and his Draconoids off this, though that barely comes up. And also, there's another target that you can search. Cyber You can search Eltonin here. If you search this is pretty cool if you want to break a board. I've seen one of the pro players use this. I think it's a cute tech, maybe citable. Um, and and yeah, that's what you can do with Cyber Emergency. Anything else doesn't really. It's not really good to search anything else off this. It's Yeah, it's solid. Also, if this gets negated, you can discard one to get it back to hand. And if it was negated on the activation, you can just reuse it again, which is cool. And discarding in this deck is not bad because you want these guys in the graveyard, so you have a lot of cards that you want in the graveyard. Then we got triple Cyber Angel Benten and one Cyber Angel Natasha, as well as one Vanity's Ruler, one Chaos Valkyria, and one Manju of the 10,000 Hands as targets for Benton. Benton is getting abused in this deck. It's like the main reason why this deck goes off as far as it is, because this is not once per turn. The Megaliths, which I'm going to come to afterwards, are also not once per turn. And these all tribute for cost to special summon themselves. And that means, like, even if you negate this with Gamma, you still get a Benton Search, then you can search any one of these or herself. And the main skill in the deck is to know what to search off of Benton. And that can help a lot. If you do it correctly, you could play through a lot of negations, like 2, 3, 4 sometimes. We run Vanity's Ruler as our main win condition because he just doesn't let your opponent special summon, but you still can do that, so it's pretty good. And also, you cannot special Christia in this deck because all these guys have a restriction that literally say you cannot special summon monsters that can be normal summoned. And unfortunately, Christia, as nice as it is in the incantation deck, this is like the bane of Christia because you cannot special summon Christia in this deck due to the restrictions of the Drytrons. And Chaos Valkyria is like an extender and is one of the main reasons you can play around Nib together with Vanity's Ruler. Because you're going to summon Vanity's Ruler a lot, right at 5 summons or 4 summons. Sometimes 6 summons, but if you summon it off 6 summons, there is a certain mechanic that will show off in the combos, and I got a couple of combos for you guys, where you can use them. Where you can like bring your opponent into a bad situation and make his nib literally not worth it. That if he nibs you, he literally hand loops himself for 1, and that is really bad this format. Like if you start with 1 less card, you're pretty much at a grave disadvantage because every card is so powerful. So now for the megaliths, we're running triple fool, 1 Ock, 1 and then 3 Ophiel. Ophiel is like a substitute for a fool. If you draw fool, it's better than drawing Ophiel most of the time. But Ophiel gets you to fool. The only bad thing about Ophiel basically is that it's another summon, and that means like you get closer to the nib. And sometimes, if you start very weirdly and you don't like open Benton, because this deck has to open Benton all the time. Ophiel can like bring you in a situation where Nib actually does something. And we also run 1 Bithor and 1 Falek. This really has a cool interaction, by the way, with Appaloosa, because this can boost Appaloosa by amazing amounts of life. Like here, this says like for each ritual monster in your graveyard, your monsters gain 300 attack and defense. And how many can we have in our graveyard? We can have 3 Benton easily, plus Natasha, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 times 3. And yeah, you could literally say Appaloosa is a Naturia Beast in that case. If you get this out on the field. I got punished by this in a mirror match, and it's pretty cool. Otherwise, this is also really good for going for game. So if you summon this and have a couple of monsters on field, you just punch them. Punch them real good. Triple prep. I wished you could more often use this last clause where you get 1 ritual spell from your graveyard to your hand. In Nekroz, this happens so often, but in this deck, not so much. But it's not too bad in this deck because the ritual spell, Meteonis Drytron, first of all, it's a cycle. So it summons from field and from hand and grave if you want to. The only weird thing about this is you have to tribute machine monsters, and the total attack must be equal or exceed, not the level. That's why all these Drytrons are level 1 or level 12, because the level literally doesn't matter in this deck. And it makes like incantations exponentially worse. Also, you can't play incantations in this deck because you're playing the Drytrons. And also, it has a second effect that is once per turn, where you can target a Drytron monster you control and make it lose exactly 1k, 1k attack, and then you can add this back. And the 1k attack lasts to the end phase. You want to play 2 if people play Crow. Otherwise, you only have to run 1. Sometimes 2 can also come up for different things. And for our last thing, we're playing 3 bricks, which is the Red Eyes engine. Our main end board is going to be Vanity's Ruler plus Dragoon, plus like cards in hand, plus follow up in graveyard, which means like your opponent has to have a negate and then a way to out Vanity's Ruler to even play. So like Eldritch can kind of do it, but not really. And yeah, this is the main deck. For the extra deck, we're running one Dweller because this is Game and Mirror. Zeus. This card is generally good. Baguska. If you worry about Lightning Storm, and your opponent also has like normal summonable monsters that do stuff even through Vanity's Ruler, you can put down Ruler plus Baguska. So first of all, you could not get Lightning Stormed. And second of all, your opponent cannot activate monster effects at all. Like if they summon the monster, they cannot use their effects or like cannot activate the effects. Like the only they cannot special summon. So basically, this is a really hard board for combo to out. One Tornado Dragon because if you can make this, it's pretty strong. We're playing Nightmare Phoenix Unicorn. Because Natasha, if you go second, you can link climb with this and your opponent's monsters, and it just ends up like you take your opponent's entire board, which is really cool. Link Karibo and Anima. You play these two because you're playing a lot of level ones, and with Nova, you need to get them in graveyard, and the best way to get them in graveyard is Link Karibo and Anima. One access code talker so that you can pop a lot of stuff. Link Spider and 2 Verte. We're playing the second Verte and the Link Spider if you get nibbed in certain situations. Union Carrier is if you are playing against a deck that, from that you know that will play Droplets and Dark Ruler no more. So what you can do is you summon Union Carrier after you summon your Vanity's Ruler, and then equip Vanity's Ruler with B Buster Drake, and that makes him a 3500 attack, one-sided emptiness with spell protection. So he's unaffected by Dark Ruler and pretty much any spell, and you just game Sky Striker. Sky Striker can't out that. And then you got the Cross Sheep and the Dragoon. Cross Sheep is okay. You can trigger it a lot in this deck. Dragoon is also really solid, especially in simplified game states, which Ruler creates. Side deck, Triple Lancia, searchable in the deck because Benton. 3 Droll because this is FTK in the mirror. This deck literally auto loses. You only need 2 cards in hand to beat this deck, by the way. You need Alistair plus Droll and Lockbird. They can't play through that. They literally, this deck literally auto loses to it because what you're going to do, like usually, is Drytron Fafnir into Nova, and then like you activate Alpha Tuban and he searches. And then as soon as Alpha Tuban searches, you just drop the Droll, and their Benton can't search. They can't play, and then on your turn you just normal Alistair, and then make Mechaba with the Alpha Tuban. And yeah, your opponent loses so much grind game from that. We also run 1 Feather Duster and 1 Cyclone. What I would also change is you should play 1 Mystic Mine. This is pretty good because you're playing a ready feed spells. And sometimes if you play the Mirror, Mystic Mine is really good. Droplets, because this deck has a lot of monsters that want to be in the graveyard. It's sort of like Orcust in that way. If you got these guys in the graveyard, they play like Orcust. And then Retaliating Sea is also a good card for the mirror. And it's good for other things, like I think the Life Twins play this, or Alistair. The Alistair deck plays it, the Invoke deck. But this is mostly for the mirror again. And then the Buster Drake for the combo with Union Carrier. So this is the deck, how I'm currently building it. It's still early in development, even though I put like a lot of time into this already. I worked on this pre-release, and I even worked with this deck as Block Dragon was legal. And with Block Dragon, this deck would have been insane, like crazy. So anyways, let's get into the combos. And I'm also going to put down a duel video in the end, so if you're interested. This first combo is like the worst the worst combo. It's Zeta plus Benton. And this ends as you will see. So Zeta, go into Benton, get Manju, get Meteor's Drytron. Then you normal Manju, get Fool. Then Meteor's Drytron, special Fool, get Benton. And then you do summon Ophiel. And then Ophiel gets you not Ophiel. You can't search Ophiel off Ophiel. But you get yourself another Megalith monster. And then you go Verte Anaconda, and then summon Dragoon. What you should have gotten yourself is probably the Falek, so that you have like 2 interruptions here, because you get the Chaos Valkyria to activate off of the Benton, and then you also get the Dragoon trigger. You should probably, instead of searching Valkyria, search for Natasha. So if you discard Natasha for a Dragoon, you can still summon it back, because Meteor's Drytron is a card that works off of the graveyard too. So postscriptum editing those combo videos, you see the deck is still new, even though I worked on it for a while. Second combo is Alpha Zeta. You search Benton off of Alpha, tribute Zeta to special Alpha, of course. Then you tribute Benton to get Zeta, and then you got Vanity's Ruler and Meteor's Drytron. And then you activate Meteor's Drytron to get your Benton. That makes 3 summons so far. And then you activate Meteor's Drytron to get it back, and Zeta is at 1k now. And then you tribute summon over it, and then you get a Vanity's Ruler and search Manju. Or like, if you have extenders, you could go for different plays too. This is the most standard way to get to Vanity's Ruler in this deck. Then this is a little bit more extended. This is, I think, the combo where you end on ruler plus the Dragoon. So here we go get Meteor's Drytron, get Vanity's Ruler. So now we tribute summon over the Linkaribo. No, this is not the combo for Dragoon, I think. Or wait. No, it isn't. This is just another Vanity's Ruler. This is the combo for Dragoon. This is Nova plus Alpha or Zeta. Here. This goes like this. You go Alpha first, then Zeta last, because you want to trigger the Benton and search the Vanity's Ruler. Then we do the same play again. Now we're at 5 summons, okay? And if you're at 5 summons, you can be nibbed, but you have a Benton on field. And interestingly enough, Benton triggers off of any kind of tribute. So if your opponent activates Nibiru, Benton will trigger, and you will be searching Chaos Valkyria off of the Benton. So, but we don't get nibbed, and instead we can normal summon Ruler, and we tribute the Benton and any monster, and then we get the Linkaribo. And then we activate Meteor's Drytron to get it back. Special summon Chaos Valkyria by banishing Linkaribo, or you should also banish. You should instead banish Relinquished Anima, and then you go for Verte, and then you send Red Eyes Fusion. So yeah, this is standard. And then here is a 3-card combo. This is Alpha Zeta Ophiel. It ends on the same thing. So as you see, it goes in this case for Ophiel. And then you go for the Fool, which will get you back the Benton. So we're at 4 summons now. And then you're going to, you should first trigger the Benton to search. Instead of this, you should search something else. Oh well. This is yeah. This combo is a little bit more suboptimal because I think this plays into Nib. Anyways, this is gameplay. I'm still pretty low rated right now because I picked up the game just recently, just to play a couple ritual decks and test around with all the new reprints and everything. This is versus Prankets. It's medium rated. He misplayed a little bit, but this is me going second 2 times, and I show you how this deck handles negation. First of all, this deck is almost immune to Ice Dragon's Prison because ritual monsters need to be first ritual summoned before they can be special summoned. And as you see, he gets to do full combo. I have no hand traps because this deck doesn't run any hand traps main deck, due to it being a pretty good break an opponent's board deck due to Megalith Betalor and Natasha. So yeah, he goes for the standard 1-card combo, I think, and pranks get the draw. We open Cyber Emergency, and you see our hand is really stacked. Our main concern here is to play around anything that he could have here. And Prankets usually have stuff that summons your stuff. And I was worried about him maybe having Nib. So my main worry is to get out Vanity's Ruler as soon as possible. So what we do is Tribute Benton Special Alpha, search the Fool, search Chaos Valkyria, and then we banish the Benton right here. And then we ask him, does he want to do anything on res? I mean, he could summon Battle Butler at this point, but he sees no point because it's way too early. I could still do a ton of stuff. And then I literally tribute summon Vanity's Ruler and his entire board is dead. Then I go for Drytron Nova, special the Zeta, and even if the Zeta would have been, this Drytron Nova would have been negated, I still would have had Fool. So I'm absolutely fine, and I would have gotten another 2 Benton triggers. So now we go for the Meteonis Drytron, and get another Benton. Then Meteonis, get another Benton. Trigger Ophiel, get Natasha. Then we go and get also a Phaleg. And then Beathor, tribute Benton Natasha for no, not Benton Natasha, Benton Fool for Phaleg. And then yeah, this is our setup right now. And then we do Ophiel, tribute itself and Manju to get Natasha. And this is where Natasha comes into play. Because now we just are going to take everything that he has in his board. We got a Cross Sheep trigger, which kills our Dragoon engine in this case. But we don't care because we got Phaleg, which boosts by 600, 800, 1, 2, 1, 5. Boosts every monster by 1, 5. So we got a 4K Vanity's Ruler. And I'm going to go even further beyond and summon an Access Code Talker. And this is beyond game. His 9,000 life points are nothing to this. Because this is 4K plus 4K plus 6.8K. No, not 6.8K, 5.8K plus 2.5K. That's over 12,000 damage, I think. And then he scoops it up. And second game goes pretty much the same. He gets to do full combo. He opens Imperm this time instead of Ice Dragon's Prison, which is a little better, but still not optimal against my deck. So he goes Pandemonium, and he now knows that he has to play around the Vanity's Ruler. So he's going to also play it a little bit different. So now he goes Pranks, get the draw, and he ended up with Pandemonium, so he can summon Battle Butler, trigger it 2 times, and he got the Imperm. So now I go for Fafnir into getting the Ritual spell, just to be sure, because I already got the Drytron Nova. If he ashes this, and this is most likely that he ashes this, it makes no sense to get another Drytron Nova. So I got Meteorus Drytron instead, and so if he like not gammas, he can't gamma this, but if he strikes the Zeta or like does something weird to it, I still have my Ritual spell. And this, then I go here for Link Rebo, and then get myself the Alpha Thuban trigger by tributing the Natasha. And now I go ahead and Link Climb. And Phoenix is going to pop the Imperm. I usually dice roll to get my pumps because I don't want to be biased about what I hit. So I hit the Imperm. Then, yeah, he goes Bow Wow. And now he knows, like, he has to be careful about me having Vanity's Ruler, maybe, because now I have Benton access. And then he goes for the Battle Butler. And then I just go Meteorus Drytron, tribute Zeta. So he first gets a lot of triggers. So then I go Meteorus Drytron, trigger tribute the Zeta, summon Natasha. And from here on, I just get to do anything I want because I still can trigger a Zeta. And then Ritual Summon from Graveyard again. So now I'm gonna Unicorn, and he's chaining Battle Butler. Then I effects of Zeta, tribute Benton, go for Zeta, get Meteorus Drytron, get a Benton search for Benton, then I get Meteorus Drytron back, and then I use Gamma Altanen and get 3 monsters, and then Absurdity happens, and I just spiral out of control. And from here on, I would clear his entire board. I got like, so this is 2 pops. Could get 3 pops probably off of um, the Axis code, and I could get a couple more off of Bethor, and then I could also go for Phallic, and then just kill him the same way I did in game 1. This is basically how the deck plays going second. So as you see, it's a pretty combo heavy deck that is also very graveyard heavy. If you want to beat this deck, Dweller is a good idea. Stopping them from special summoning is always a good idea. If you call Light off of VFD, it's pretty good. Uh, Ice Dragon's Prison is okay. Fiend Griefing is a good trap card against this if you ever play this deck, and you can also play a couple of other good tech cards. If you have a Herald of the Arclight, try to save it as long as possible because this deck will banish like its entire hand just to get a couple searches through the Herald. And yeah, as you can think, this is pretty suboptimal for a graveyard reliant deck. So back to the deck list. I think this deck is really good. I think it is meta viable if you want to go and climb your DB ranked ladder, or maybe even play it at PPG or your regional I don't know, whatever events. If we maybe get regionals back, this deck would, at this point, be able to top a regional easily, in my opinion. And it will probably be picked up by pro players. And I think pro players will go and realize that Vanity's Ruler is going to be better than the Herald lists, because the Herald lists are kind of inconsistent due to them requiring you to have a lot of fairies. And if you play, and you always play into Nib with the needle fiber combos, while you never play into Nib with the Vanity's Ruler combos, if you get this guy out, of course. Sometimes you just don't open Benton. That's sad. And if you don't open Benton, you just go for a full defense and try to get Beathor and maybe Dragoon, and just avoid going over 5 summons. So anyway, this is the deck. I hope you guys enjoyed. Maybe I'll produce more content regarding to this deck. I will definitely look into creating a Nekroz Drytron list, even though Nekroz Drytron probably isn't viable. It still probably is an okay deck and can be played at locals if you are tired of playing incantations. And otherwise, I wish you a good day and happy dueling.